Hello and welcome to another episode of the Mental Motivator TV show. I am your host, Nakia Campbell, and as always, I am so excited to have all of you tuning in from around the world to witness ordinary people who have been able to use the power of their mindsets to achieve extraordinary success. Now, my guest today is an interior designer, a muralist, and a visual artist. She's been featured in major publications like Elle and Vogue magazine and Architectural Design. I want you guys to take a look at this quick video.
I'm Bailey of Bailey Lee Interiors. Welcome to this artfully inspired, insanely stylish living room that I designed here in Newark, New Jersey. The key to creating unique spaces for me is my ability to interpret my clients' personalities and translate them into the space. When you enter, you're entering into a realm of them that you weren't privy to before. So my client is the jumping off point, but then I bring things into the environment that I am inspired by, like American graffiti art, fashion, and antique furniture. And I consider this fearless mixing of contemporary and traditional elements with a burst of color my signature style.
So Bailey, I'm pretty sure you're well known here in your city of Newark, New Jersey, and throughout the country, and maybe even around the world. But for those guests who have not heard about you, please tell them a little bit more about who you are, what you do, your mission, etc.
Thank you so much for having me on the show. So yes, I am from Newark, New Jersey. I am an interior designer. I started my career as a real estate agent, and I quickly transformed into an interior designer when I found a passion for staging homes and really bringing personality to a person's home. My work really garnered a lot of attention once I started painting murals. So I started doing these hand-painted murals in people's projects, and it really sort of put me on the map. And that's how NBC saw me on Instagram, and then people just wanted to start featuring me.
Wow, so NBC found you on Instagram.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. They saw me painting a mural on my Instagram.
And you guys cannot see this place that we are in. You cannot see this wall that is behind us. But when I tell you phenomenal,
thank you.
Phenomenal.
This place is called La Boheme.
We are inside of La Boheme, and I just want to tell y'all that she's worked with a host of celebrities, including Whoopi Goldberg. So when you see what she has going on in La Boheme, you will know why. So I want to know, you said that you were working in real estate. So you were staging homes. What caused you, or what was that turning point to where you said, you know what, I don't want to just put a chair over here in the corner. You know, when you're staging homes, you really can't put much in there.
Right.
You know, the purpose is space, so people can see what they can add to the home.
Yes.
So did you feel like you weren't able to put enough of you into that, and with this?
That's a great question. Actually, what happened was I was staging the homes, and then the houses would sell because I would sell them. I was a realtor. And then the person would buy a new home, and then they'd ask me to come in and design it because they liked what I did with the staging. Now, I wasn't your typical stager where I would just, you know, put like very neutral colors. Every now and then I do a pop of color and make it a little exciting. Right. And I think my clients took notice of that and said, wait, I want you to actually design my house. And so I got into full-on interior design from there, and that's how I kind of left the real estate behind and started doing that. So that, yes, I can infuse people's personalities into this space. Right. And another thing is I really felt like there wasn't a lot of people of color like us finding our voices in our spaces.
Right.
Everything was like kind of cookie cutter when you go to the furniture stores. Right. And so me as an artist, I was like, oh, well, let's create something new. Maybe, you know, there's a beautiful mural, or maybe I'm hand painting a chair. And I'm also going around and collaborating with other artisans in the local area to create something really fascinating and unique.
Right. And I know you said that you like to kind of put people's personalities on display in their homes, but I think even with that, not only are you putting their personality on display, you get to put your personality on display. You get to leave your energy there. These people are what you can't welcome everybody into your house now.
That's true.
You can't welcome everybody into, especially things like decorating. That is something that is going to be there. And for them to want you to see something in you, that speaks a lot about your energy, the value that you bring to so many people. They wake up every day in their homes, but they wake up every day being reminded of you because you are the one who is there setting that up for them. And I think that that is so freaking amazing. I think that's so phenomenal. So
I hadn't thought of it like that because I always look at the client as the muse. But yes, I am infusing.
Right.
The things that make me unique into the space as well.
Right.
But using them as the muse.
Right.
So absolutely.
Right.
Yes.
And with uniqueness, what do you think with the work that you do, the murals that you paint, the way you paint, the pieces that you create? What makes what you do different from what's already out there?
So I would say that the true defining thing about me is my fearlessness in design, my willingness to just do what's never been done before, to, like I said, put like larger than life murals in someone's home. I want people's home to really speak to their personality, and I'm sure that that's done in a number of different ways, but I do it in a very artistic and creative way, where I'm infusing art into the design and making a livable space out of it.
Right, and those murals are massive. I was going through your Instagram page. It didn't look like you traced them out like me. I can't even draw a heart yet, right? So I can't even make a straight circle, but I was looking at you and you just climbed up on the ladder and started painting. And it turned out to be this huge, phenomenal, like, it's all amazing. I didn't see you take a pencil and draw anything out. You just paint it. You just paint it.
That's exactly how I do it. I literally feel like I'm channeling.
Right.
So it's like, I'm praying on it. I'm meditating on it. I'm doing everything, that I can to really put myself into my creative zone prior to going to the wall. But it's literally, balls to the wall.
Right,
and it's me just trusting in the divine to channel something really genius through me. It's something really brilliant, and trust in the process and getting to it. And I've just learned to do that, to let go of me and let the divine speak through me.
Girl, it's amazing because I can see that the work that you do, you like you said earlier, you wanted to bring a change to this industry. There wasn't a lot of Black people. There wasn't a lot of Black women. There wasn't a lot of art that represented who we are. And I think with change, I always say, like, when you want to create change, you have to be what you want to see. And I absolutely believe that you are artwork. I came in here and I looked at this place, La Boheme. My heart dropped and my mouth fell open because it was beautiful. And even sitting here right now, I look at you, my heart drops.
Wow.
My mouth opens because you are beautiful. You are everything that I see showing here in this place right now. And that is phenomenal. That is phenomenal. And we are going to take a quick break and we are going to come right back with the beautiful Ms. Bailey Lee. Are you ready to inspire the world with your story? Visit us at thementalmotivator.com and schedule a consultation to be our next guest. And we are back with our second segment on The Mental Motivator with Ms. Bailey Lee, interior designer, celebrity interior designer at that. So Ms. Bailey, I know that when it comes to artwork, a lot of people have their own idea of what artwork means or what it does for the world. Some people says that it communicates ideas to different groups of people. Some people believe that artwork unifies communities. Some people believe that it strengthens mental health. And so I want to know, what has that definition, that purpose of the art been for you? What has it done for you?
So for me, art has definitely been therapeutic. It's also, for me, a message, right, to people. It just as you said, art speaks to the times that we are in. Right. Its job is to evoke emotion, and it is here to disrupt us, right, from what it is that we think, you know what I mean, is, you know, the right thing to do. Sometimes we have to look at the artist to see, right, where they are actually acting as activists for us visually, to show us that, hey, like, vaginas are lit. I did that. This piece, this is the one.
Right here, y'all. Y'all see this light switch?
Yes.
Vaginas are lit.
And that is about women empowerment. And people, you look at this piece, you just see what you see. Like you said, you thought it was like turning on.
Right.
But it's about igniting a thought in someone else to understand the power of women, right? It goes so much deeper. Right. But I love when we can take a look at art, the artwork in front of us, and we can start to question ourselves, question our societies, question our communities, question what we think about the things that are happening to us in our lives. Right. And as Black people, we absolutely need more representation of these things that ignite something in us greater than what we presently are experiencing. Right. And that's what I feel art does for us. Absolutely.
Right. Well, first, let me say thank you, because everyone cannot do this to this magnitude. This is healing for me. Colors definitely heal for me, and I love to study the psychological traits that these colors have when we connect to them. Like when we see the color yellow, it makes us happy. Right. Or we know that blue is calming. We know that green is for our growth and abundance, red, pink for love. And for you to be able to be so in tune that you're able to fit all these different colors together to make something so beautiful. Oh my gosh, that is special. So thank you for stepping out, number one, to being one of our healers, because you bring healing to so many different people's homes without even knowing it.
Yeah, and it's our indigenous people taught us, you know, through chromotherapy and different mediums, using color and light and all these things, that this is how we heal. Right. And we have the opportunity to heal ourselves through our spaces. Right. It is not just to go out into nature, but it is to actually experience what would make you happy, what can uplift your spirit, what can change your mood. You can do that right within your space. And I've always felt that it's important to do that. And the way to do that is bringing in, you know, aspects of that person and what they really enjoy into this space.
Into the space. Oh my goodness, it just makes me happy, because I'm a person who, as I talked to you earlier, I told you I was diagnosed before with PTSD, anxiety, and depression. Yes. And I was in one of those spaces that I felt I would never get out of. And as I went to therapy over and over and over again, my therapist got to the point to where she said, Nakia, you are going to have to find what brings you joy. And she told me to pay attention to what I was doing at the times I felt the lowest. So I was going into my workplace or going throughout the day, and I realized one day that every time something was happening to me, I would start doodling. I had bought so many things of paint, so many packs of colored pencils. I was not an artist at all, but doodling, using the paint, and I only painted with my hands, no paintbrushes. I wanted to feel my hands on the canvas. I realized that just doing that was definitely a way for me to heal. So I can only imagine like the comfort and the peace and the zen you have to feel every single day by being able to just do this. And I know that you said art sends a message. And I do know that like one of the biggest messages that we saw with artwork was like Black Lives Matter. Yeah. After so many black men and women were being killed, we saw all these murals going up. We see them today. George Floyd's face is on front of so many buildings, and so is so many other people. So for you, what is the message that your artwork sends? What is your message that you want to get out into the world, that you want people to know when they see a Bailey Lee piece or a mural that was created by you?
That your voice matters, your perspective matters, that your life matters. Like everything that is you, that creates the tapestry that is you, everything that you've been through, all of it matters. And so you don't have to whitewash, your life and your existence in order to fit in, but you really should stand out. You really should try to be exactly who you are, right? And that authenticity is healing within itself. I think a lot of us are hiding underneath what we think the world wants us to be instead of actually being true to us. That's what art is about, and that's what these spaces are about. That's what healing is truly about.
Right, because I do believe that art is the only way for you to display who you really are. Not the clothes that you're wearing because somebody else made that. Not the shoes, not your hair, somebody else is doing that. But when you put your hand to the canvas, or you pick up that pen, or you pick up that pencil, that is the one way. Whatever comes out of there, whatever comes from your hand is you.
Yeah. I also think even through fashion, because you brought up fashion, that you are, being the curator of those pieces, right? And kind of becoming your own dictator of your message,
how you put it together.
Yourself.
Right.
So we just have to allow ourselves to be original, to put together the art, because I'll put together the artist patterns and colors and all of these things because it makes me happy.
It. Yeah, zebra pink and almost like colorful color wheel dress.
Right, but it makes you feel good, right? It makes me feel good when I look good, right? That's all a part of our mental health.
Right.
Everything that is around us and everything that is on us, all of it is a part of our joy that we get to experience in this life. And if we don't express it, then we're repressing it.
So it's almost like you feel like art is required in order for us to achieve complete mental health. Like without art, if it never existed, like we could not completely achieve mental health, like seriously positive mental health. Something would be missing.
Absolutely. You named it. You said, look what happened during COVID and Black Lives Matter. You saw so many murals going up.
Right.
Think about how that made us feel during that time. We were celebrating someone's life. We were saying that these lives actually matter. We were creating monuments surrounding those people through the art. Right. Otherwise, what will we have to do that? Right. So I think it really showed up during that time, and it continues to show up, more and more in our lives, how important it is.
So we talk about mental health, and we've talked about ourselves. How important do you think art is, and for our young children, and how soon should they be introduced to this so that they, can learn that this is a way to heal and to express yourself?
I say immediately.
Right.
I say immediately. And like you said, you like to doodle and stuff like that. There is actually a practice in Russia called neurographica, where they teach you're basically healing yourself and overcoming your boundaries and all this by just like scribbling on paper. It's a whole science.
Wow.
And it is a practice. I just did it like the other day, and I can tell you how straight lines and certain corners were like representative of blockages. And then I had to take from those straight lines and create curves and create flow in my life.
To get around the blocks.
And and that's something as simple as drawing on paper brings you face to face with that.
Right.
But when so for children, if you allow them that free play to express themselves, in a society that dictates to them how they need to act, that is their moment that, you know, through the art where they can at least draw outside of the lines and be who they, you know, truly are. That's where you can encourage it most.
When we always encourage them to stay inside the line. Stop coloring outside the line. Let them scribble all over that paper if they want to.
Yes.
Yeah, because I think it's important because especially in the Black community, most adults won't even go to therapy. They don't find their own ways to heal. They cover it up. They suppress it, like you said. Oh, I'm good. We wear the mask.
Yes.
How you doing? Oh, I'm good. Deep down inside, you're dying. You're breaking up. You're breaking down.
Yes.
And so I think that, you know, this interview with you today is so important because you can speak to the people and encourage them, like, to get their kids, get them some paint, get them into artwork, get them a canvas, let them learn a way out.
Yep.
Give them an outlet.
Yes.
You might not go to therapy, but give your kids a way out. Give your kids a chance to succeed, to learn something new in life that can help them heal.
Absolutely. And I'll add to that because as a young when I was a young girl, both of my parents were stricken with drug addiction. And so my outlet was poetry. You know, I would get books and I would read poetry, I would draw, I would just spend a lot of time in my room, and I realized that the Nikki Giovannis and the Sonia Sanchez's and the Miri Barakas were literally in my room with me, helping me escape to to other possibilities.
Right.
It was through the reading and through the art and through the poetry that I was able to say, there's something bigger than this experience that I'm in right now.
Right.
And I can express something that may help someone else heal, like these people are expressing for me, right? Without knowing it. Their books were just in my hands.
Right.
And so, yeah, I think it's just extremely, extremely important for children to have that outlet.
Right. Well, you spoke about drug addiction and being a little girl. And it was probably a traumatic time in your life. My biological father was addicted to drugs. He still is to this day. So it's been over 40 years.
Yes.
And it definitely caused trauma in my household with the abuse. You know, I was 3 years old. My dad was holding guns to my head for fun in front of his friends because he thought it was funny.
Wow.
You know, there were so many different things that went on. And we've talked about how phenomenal you are. They've seen how phenomenal you are because you guys are gonna go follow her on Instagram after this. They're gonna see how phenomenal you are. And when they look at these things, they're not going to think trauma. They're not gonna think sadness. They're not gonna think struggle. But keeping it real, we all know that in order to become this great, that meant you had a struggle story or some type of trauma or sadness behind all of this that the world doesn't get to see because you didn't send that message. Right. So today, I want to give you a chance to talk about what did that trauma look like for you in your past?
Wow. You know, I've been thinking about this a lot and thinking about like how important it is that whatever trauma it is that we go through, that we share it. And so thank you for this opportunity to do that, because I know that by me sharing my story, someone else can relate to it and will receive some benefit from it. And so for me, as I stated, both of my parents were stricken with drug addiction. And so I did not grow up with their support. And so then I had to go live with my grandparents, which was wonderful to have them there for us. But they were very basic, you got a roof over your head, you got this, but not the nurturing. And I suffered a lot. I had depression. By the time I was right out of high school, I tried to commit suicide. And thank God, I survived that. But I had to fight through the depression in order to find happiness, in order to just find myself, my true self, because I felt like I was buried under all of these stories that weren't mine. And so, like I said, it came through me reading the poetry, it came through me writing my story, letting it out, and it came through me connecting with, you know, beautiful other creatives in my life that were able to show me, like, this is it. Like, this is the way that you get out of what you're in. Right. And even though it took me years, because I went through abusive relationships, like when you're growing up in toxicity, right, when you're growing up in dysfunction, you don't even know what a real relationship feels like.
Right, because I didn't.
Yeah, you don't know what that feels like. And so the unfamiliar becomes something that you push away. So if someone really tries to love you sincerely, you're like, that feels weird, right? And so I had to learn how to love myself, because I didn't know how to do that. I didn't know how to receive love. I didn't know how to do any of it.
Right.
And it took some good friends, like my girlfriend. One of my girlfriends is a clinical psychologist. One of my girlfriends is a Reiki master. It took some good friends, a lot of dedication and willpower on my part, and me finding, you know, spirituality and finding faith, finding practices that help me keep a positive outlook over myself, and, you know, and keep myself just kind of grounded in the truth of who I am versus the lies.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Man, I would have never thought.
Yeah, right? Same. When I hear your story, it's just like, wow.
Right.
You know?
But I always say that, you know, God gives his toughest battles to his strongest soldiers. And when he gives us those battles and he takes us to them, he gets us through them so that we can share those stories with someone else. And I'm glad that you actually shared the story about your trauma today, because our stories are not ours to hold on to.
Yes.
Our stories do not belong to us. If you survived it, you survived it because you were supposed to go back and pull somebody else up. Okay. And I wanted to touch on something, just a couple of things that you said. I know you were saying that you were living up under all these stories that weren't yours. And you guys, our stories are written every single day, with every thought that we think, with every action that we take, with every step that we make. Our story is being written. And you really have to think, does anybody want to read your story? Who's writing your story? Because if you don't do the work to write your story yourself, someone else is going to write it for you, and they're going to always get it wrong. If someone else writes your story, they're going to always get it wrong. And so I'm so glad that you are writing your story, and it is so beautiful.
Thank you.
It is so beautiful. It is the best version of nonfiction and beauty and art that I've ever witnessed. And I'm just glad and honored, really, to be sitting here, you know, next to you today. To even hear you talk about meeting with other creatives. And you said that you met other creatives and that was a part of you, you know, coming out. So was your artwork a response to your trauma, or was artwork something that you liked and you just got good at it?
That's a beautiful question. And I've never ever thought of it. And I instantly felt like it was both. I feel like now in this moment that not only was it a response,
right,
it was the way out.
Right.
But it definitely was a response. And I hadn't thought of it that way.
Right.
You know, I hadn't thought of it that I was responding to the trauma.
Right.
And, you know, speaking back to it, kind of rebelling against it, pushing it away through the expression of it.
Right.
And that's really deep. I love that.
Right.
And I think the other thing, and I wanted to say this, the other thing that I feel really helped me respond to the trauma was something that we all should do, and that is like really get into the knowledge of self. And I'm not even talking about, I'm Alicia Bailey, I'm Bailey, but I'm talking about my ancestors. I'm talking about going all the way back to the origins of who you are, because that truth has been hidden from most of us as Black people, because you know how we got here, right? Mm-hmm. We don't have the basis of the truth of who we are, because that truth is what empowers us to know that we came from kings and queens and that all of this stuff. So if you could start to dig into like who you truly are, truly going back to your ancestors, seeing what they've been through, knowing that you come from something so great, that starts to build the foundation for you, because that foundation was pulled from under you. So you didn't have it, and now you're building, you know what I mean? Just out of the thin air, if that makes sense. Right. But that was part of my healing too. The art, responding to it, but also saying, no, I'm going against
who I am.
Yeah, I'm going to go against what you said I am, or what society says I am, and I'm really going to find out who I am.
Right. That is so special. And that speaks a lot about, like, my next question about the power of the mindset. You had to change the negative thought patterns that you had in order to say, you know what, I'm no longer going to think that way. I'm going to find out who I really am.
Yes.
So I want to ask you, like, how do you feel, or what can you say to the people about tapping into the power of their mindset and thinking positive in order to help them to get past the traumas like you did?
Yeah, it's so funny you said tapping in. A book that saved my life when I tried to commit suicide, a book that saved my life immediately after that was Tapping the Power Within by Iyanla Vanzant. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people don't know about that book, but that book saved my life.
Wow.
And so it taught me to spend time, connecting to my God self, my God consciousness, and spend time in meditation, spend time feeding and nourishing my soul with the things that I needed to make myself happy. And so I'll forever be grateful to Iyanla Vanzant for that.
I love her.
But tap in.
Right.
Like we really do have to tap into what our ancestors went through in order for us to be here, and tap into what they gave us, right? And what we innately just have, what we possess as spiritual beings. We have to tap into that. Right. You know, we're not just human. We're holistically, we are spiritual beings having a human experience.
And boy, ain't it hell? Ain't it hell being human? Ain't it hell? Can we just be spirits, please? Can we just go back to being spirits?
Yeah.
No, I'm just playing, God. I'm just playing. We got some more living to do. I'm just playing.
Yes.
I'm just playing.
This is the beautiful part of it.
Right.
This is the beautiful part of life.
And being able to share it with the world.
Yes.
No longer feeling the need to live in silence.
Yeah.
No longer being ashamed, no longer being embarrassed. Just being here free, unapologetically who God created us to be, not giving a damn, really. I saw a post you had on Instagram that said something to the haters or the critics or something.
Right.
So, but who cares about those people?
Yeah.
Be you.
There it is.
Be you. The thing about the hair, you might have gone to a job before who might have thought, this hair is very unprofessional. She can't work here looking like that,
Yes.
Screw those people. Find another job.
Exactly.
Go somewhere else. Go where you are liked. Go where you are loved. Go where you are accepted, not tolerated.
Absolutely.
Right. And so, I've completely, tremendously enjoyed this interview today. I want you to, if you can, give a piece of advice to a young girl who may be living in a home with drug-addicted parents, or a child who has been shipped off to their grandparents because their parents are unfit to raise them. Wow. And they may just have a dream to just get out, to escape, to find something. She may love artwork. What would you say to a little girl who is in a position that you were in to help her push forward and become successful like you have.
Wow. Wow. Okay, this is deep. But I guess I would have to say to her, one, you know, get to a space. I know your environment might be insanely crazy, and you may not even understand why it's happening to you, because you didn't do anything to deserve it, right? But it's your reality. And so I would say that although you may not be able to change your immediate circumstance, you can change what's going on inside of you. And you can get, you know, in your room or in a place where you can be silent and you can get in touch with your heart, because everything comes through the heart, right? You want to get in touch with your heart and you want to find out how you can best express who you truly are. You want to read books, you want to create art, you want to get around friends or people who can uplift you. But bigger than anything else, you want to just believe in yourself and know that you are bigger than your environment, that you are greater than what is happening around you, and that if you just keep, you know, believing and striving, that one of these days you'll be here giving advice to someone just like you.
That's beautiful.
Thank you.
Oh, that's
Thank you.
beautiful.
This was so nice.
That's
I
so
love this.
beautiful. And lastly, I want you to tell everybody out there how they can reach you. If you want them to follow you on social media, where can they see your artwork? Sign up for an art class, because you can't keep all this to yourself. You got to start teaching somebody else. And I'm signing up first. Like,
Yes, so you can, my website is www.designedbybaileylee.com. And then my Instagram is Interiorista, like fashionista. So Interiorista underscore Bailey Lee. And I do, like, please look up, if you want to attend some of the stuff that I do, we host meditations, sound bowl healings, and lots of things here at La Boheme for healing. And so if you're ever interested in those things, follow me on Instagram and you'll be able to participate.
yes, y'all. And she just gave me a little free mini sound bowl healing session right before the show began, and it was amazing. So is there anything else, any last words or anything that you want to say to our viewers around the world, anything that's on your heart that you want to leave to them before we go?
Yes, I would just say that just honestly, just be unapologetically yourself. I know that sounds cliche, everybody says it, but it is so true. Find your authenticity and express it somehow. That's it.
She said, be you, y'all. Be you. And I am so glad to have had this time with you.
I'm so glad you came.
Thank you so much for inviting me here. Y'all, it's beautiful. I don't want to leave, but I have other interviews to do, so I have to leave. But just sitting here in this space, I cannot even describe the feeling. But you guys, today we have had Miss Bailey Lee here on the Mental Motivator Show. She shared with you guys her work, her past, her trauma. She's also shared with you how the importance of the mind can help change the trajectory of your life. I hope that you have been inspired by Bailey's story today to find your own success story, to find your own way out. And I hope that Ms. Bailey's story today has helped to encourage you to change the way you live, think, and thrive. Until next time, guys. Peace.